What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We're out here at the shop. We're at my home garage again today. So yesterday we got the engine out of the car, got the heads off of it, and if y'all didn't watch the last video, I'll show you again what's wrong with the motor. Had a little bit of a problem, slight problem. It could have probably been a little bit worse. Well, I shouldn't say that because I don't know for sure if we're 100% done finding the problems yet. I think so. But let me show you what happened. We're going to go ahead and try to get this thing apart today so we can get a full assessment on exactly what's broke, get a game plan on what we're going to do with small block Chevy. Also get a game plan on what we're going to do with the Saturn. Is it done completely? Do we just need to go ahead and put our focus on the big block in the Mustang? Or do we need to get this small block rebuilt and either put it back in the Saturn and race some more this year or put the small block in the Mustang? Let me give you an update. I honestly can't give you an update yet because I don't know. Check it out, guys. Comment, like, and subscribe. If y'all want to support the channel, go to turbojohnracing.com. Grab yourself some hats and t-shirts. Thanks, guys. All right. So the Saturn has been a pretty good little car. It's been a little bit different, but we had a little bit of an engine issue. I thought we spun a rod bearing, but come to find out we did not spin the rod bearing. And if you look down in there, you can see there's a hole in the piston. But this hole is from mechanical damage. Hopefully down in the engine, in the bottom end, there's no metal flakes up here in the top. So I don't think we spun a bearing. It looks like we just had a cylinder go down. It looks like the intake valve seat come out of the head or got disintegrated somehow. It broke into a bunch of pieces. And you can see that's a chunk that was in the head, and there's a couple chunks in the other head, but the cylinder is not terrible. It's got a little bit of scoring through here, but we're gonna hit it with a hone and see how that turned out. Now we got TKM top fuel hoops on this thing. So y'all have seen the top fuel hoops before, and essentially it's a big O-ring in the head. Solid O-rings probably sticking out 30 thousandths or so. There's a great big groove in the block, and you can see this thing really, I'm pulling on this head gasket here, and it is not really wanting to come off. And the top fuel hoops are amazing, the seal that they get. I mean, we got a little bit of the blue glue on it, but you can see this thing, it just is, the blue glue is not what's causing it to not peel out of the head or off the block. It is 100% the top fuel hoops, and it has pushed this copper gasket down in the cylinder, down into the receiver groove, and this is what it looks like. And you can see how much that does. If you've run O-rings before, you can really tell an O-ring does a good job, but this thing is the ultimate seal. These TKM top fuel hoops are freaking unbelievable. And you can see down in the block itself is the big receiver groove, and then the top fuel ring is over here. And this is the cylinder that got damaged. But you can see how massive the top fuel hoops are. So now we got some decisions to make on what we're going to do with these heads. Probably what we need to do, what I'm kind of thinking, these castings have had several blow-ups on them. We had some guides last time we had it apart. We had to put guides in it, so the guides were kind of getting in bad shape. So, you know, ideally, we start having issues with seats and guides. We've had a lot of heat on the heads. So it's probably going to be wise, especially since this is an out of the box 23-degree profiler head. Nothing really exotic, nothing special. I mean, there's the part number 176, 121. You can get these things off of Summit for $1,200 assembled. And it's got decent springs and decent valves in them. So $2,500. I've got another set of heads, and then of course I got to get Kevin to O-ring the head and put the wire, the top fuel hoop, in the head. But that's probably going to be the best bet. We could buy all new seats, but by the time you pay the labor, you get this thing welded up, get all the seats cut out of it, get all the seats installed, and then you say, okay, well now what about the guides? So now you got to do the guide work. If you want to have a brand new set of heads, it just might be easier to not do that. The other thing we have to do, the only other issue, you notice we run the big push rods, and we have to open these holes up to get good clearance, but that's not super big deal, super big issue. And then we've got one spare head. Basically what I would probably do is take this head and chunk it, take it apart, get the good stuff out of it, the good springs, good valves, and that way I got some spare stuff. keep that head as a complete spare. There's nothing wrong with this head over here that we know of right now. So I have that one for a spare. And then, you know, and then we got 2 new ones. I could buy one head. They sell them independently, and I could do that. But at this point, I don't know that that's a good thing, a good wise choice. You can see some of the valve guides that we did replace last time. Kind of hard to see. But today, what we're going to do is go ahead and get the motor completely apart and get the oil pan off of it and see what we got down in the bottom end. Make sure nothing is down in there. I think we're fine. I don't think there's going to be any issue down there. It is, like I said, it's amazing, these head gaskets, peeling these things off. If anybody wants these, I might, actually, you know what I should do? I should probably clean these up and toss them on the website. If anybody wants any head gaskets, we'll have a couple. Actually, I've got a few other ones too off of the engine where I pulled it apart a few times. If anybody wants any, God, I can't get over how hard that thing is to get out. And it is amazing how it sticks it. I know some people have gasket problems. If you're running an MLS gasket or some other type of gasket, and even O-ring sometimes, if you want to have a very good chance of not having a gasket failure, these top fill hoops, man. And I've done a good video on them not too long ago. But wow, look at how it embosses and it stands up. That is crazy how much it pops through there. And this is I think this is a 60 or 70 thousandths. I need to look at it. I think they're 70s. I need to look at it. These are just SEs. Normally we run Clarks, but I didn't have time to get them from him, so I just got these from Summit this time. But we're going to clean these up, and we'll sign them. If anybody wants to buy any head gaskets, we'll do it cheap, and then send them to you for some wall art. So that's pretty cool. Off of the Turbo John small block Chevrolet all aluminum. Check it out, guys. All right, hang on a second. We'll go ahead and get started taking this off. Something else I'm going to do, I've got to head over to Mike's, and one of the things I don't have for my big block, I don't have a trigger wheel set up. So I know my harmonic balancer is the same size here. I'm going to see, I know this will bolt on. I'm going to see if I can get just this piece right here for the Holly. I know that's for the small block Chevrolet, but if I can get just this bracket, man, that would be awesome. That would save me a ton of money. Instead of spending $600, if I can buy that just for a few bucks, we can use my 36-1 wheel. Hang on. All right, boys, oil pan is off of it. Motor is mostly disassembled here as far as like the external stuff. I am going to take this, like I said, try to see if they'll fit on my big block. This does have the timing belt, of course. I like this. This is the exact same harmonic balancer that I got on the new car, on the new motor. Now, something that's interesting. So we know it was a valve seat that failed, and this is part of it, right? Oh, no, I understand now. I just solved my own problem. I was about to say I don't understand how a chunk of the valve seat got to the oil pan, and there's several, but then I just remembered. There's a hole in the piston. So, yeah, so that's exactly what happened. And if you look at that, that's about the exact perfect size. So we're about to turn this thing over. We'll turn it over and see. I guess the real dilemma here is this, if it went straight down to the oil pan, then hopefully it's not tore up too bad, but usually this thing gets kicked around a lot in the bottom. Like I said, we're going to put rods in it anyway, so if it did mess up the rods a little bit, that's okay, as long as it didn't mess up crankshaft, which, you know, the crankshaft is protected by the rods on the stuff that matters. So let's turn it over real quick and see what we got. All right, guys, I don't know if you noticed too, the reason I left the motor sitting like this in this orientation when I pulled the oil pan off is because if I would have turned it over, there's probably still a half a quart or so in the pan. Of course, that would have got all in the motor, and then it would have, when I turned it back over like this, it would have been all over the place. So this is the one that got beat up, that come through. Yeah, crankshaft's fine, guys. So crankshaft is good. Let me turn this thing over. So we'll snatch that one piston out. That is for sure damaged. And this thing still turns over like butter. Wow. It happens, guys. It's a parts failure. Man, the motor feels good. But these rings and bearings are new this year. All right, let's take this number 6. Take the number 6 cap off real fast. This is a pretty nice motor, guys. It is the nicest motor I've ever had. Aluminum block. Aluminum block, aluminum heads. It's a scat crankshaft. It's a billet crankshaft, we're pretty sure. And some people would just wrench these and just pop them loose with the impact, but I like to hit them with pressure instead of an impact. I'll take them off with the impact. I like to break them loose regular. Boy, look at there. Check this out, guys. A little bit of contamination in there, but that's kind of normal. Bearing is not beat out at all. Now the rod end, man, I'm so glad it didn't spin a rod bearing, which I don't know in this scenario if it would have been cheaper to replace the crankshaft. Well, probably not, because this is a nice crankshaft. Now this bearing is the one that tells you if there's any detonation happening or spark knot. It is still in there. It is not bellowed out, mushroomed out at all. Let's see if you can see that. So that one looks good too. Now granted, these ain't got many passes on them. Well, I shouldn't say that. They do have a lot of passes on them. And then these are the MGP rods. And there's your hole right there. And you see, got a nice dent right beside it there. And it cracked it. And these pistons are not, you know, super high end. Whoa, boy, look at that right there. Son! It collapsed that pretty good. It's pretty cool looking. How it just, that's the part that scarred the cylinder a little bit. And these rods are not in bad shape at all. It's got a couple little dings right there. If this, man, these rods are, honestly, the rods are probably fine. See if we can spin this. The piston, the actual pin bore is still fine. How you can tell that's not warped is because I can still spin it. And these don't have spiral locks. These have got the Eclipse. CP bullet pistons for the win, baby. We'll order a replacement for that one. And man, we could almost put this thing. I ain't gonna tell you what I could do because I may do it. I could easily, this replacement piston right here is, I think 150 bucks. I can have it in 2 or 3 weeks. I could toss this thing back together, and the head would be the only issue that we would have. I've got one more piston, that the neighboring one. It probably be wise to get 2 pistons, just because the other one's got a little dent in it too. I don't know how far it goes, and that's the kind of the issue. You can see there's not much thickness there. Now granted, this one is beat up pretty bad, but there's probably that ring land is probably 200 thousandths thick, so it's not super thick. But you get probably 2 pistons, set of rods, and then the bottom end will be together. Man, this looks good. Super happy with the bottom end the way it looks. All right, so this is the neighbor. That one is pretty deep. It's hard to tell. That one, it needs 2 pistons for sure. So pistons are not very expensive. I could get a whole set. I mean, these are pretty worn. So I've got a little bit of scoring down in here that I think a berry hone and this one will be good enough to send it again. I'm pretty sure that'll be okay. Liner looks good, no cracks, anything. So luckily that steel seat did not beat that up. The piston took all the brunt of it, and the head. Yeah, we're gonna replace that one. All right, guys, well, that's it for today. I appreciate you guys joining in. Positive outlooks, guys. Comment, like, and subscribe. We'll see y'all later.